How do we remain righteous when the world around us burns with injustice? How do we choose dharma when victory seems impossible and the path of righteousness leads only to suffering? Welcome to GitaSahasram. Today, we walk alongside Arjun, a young corporate executive in modern Mumbai, as he faces the greatest dilemma of his career. His story mirrors that of Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava, whose unwavering commitment to Dharma guided him through the darkest trials. Arjun worked at one of India's largest corporations, known for his integrity and fairness. His colleagues called him Dharmaraj, the righteous one. Like Yudhishthira, who was born as the son of Dharma itself, Arjun carried righteousness in his very soul. One morning, Arjun's world shattered. His company had been secretly involved in corruption, bribing officials for government contracts. His own uncle, like Shakuni in the Mahabharata, had orchestrated this web of deceit. The board demanded Arjun's silence in exchange for a promotion. Just as Yudhishthira faced the crooked game of dice, Arjun faced his own impossible choice. His family depended on his job. His younger siblings needed education. His parents required medical care. The weight of responsibility pressed upon his shoulders like a mountain. That evening, Arjun sat in his small apartment, staring at his grandfather's portrait. The old man had taught him about Krishna's teachings from childhood. Gita, his grandfather had once said, Dharma is not about easy choices. It is about choosing right when choosing right costs everything. He remembered the story of Yudhishthira's exile, how the eldest Pandava lost everything in the game of dice but never lost his commitment to truth. Even when his brothers questioned his decisions, even when Draupadi challenged his forgiveness, Yudhishthira chose Dharma over victory. Arjun's phone buzzed. A message from his mentor, an elderly gentleman named Krishna Das, who had guided him throughout his career. Gita, sometimes the greatest victories come through apparent defeats. Remember what Krishna taught Arjuna, do your duty without attachment to results. That night, Arjun dreamed of the Yaksh's questions to Yudhishthira. What is the greatest wonder in the world, the celestial being had asked. That people see others dying every day, yet live as if they are immortal, Yudhishthira had replied. They chase temporary gains while forgetting eternal dharma. The next morning, Arjun understood. Like Yudhishthira, he had to choose between immediate safety and eternal righteousness. The Bhagavad Gita's teaching echoed in his heart, it is better to perform one's own dharma imperfectly than to perform another's dharma perfectly. Just as Krishna had guided Yudhishthira through his darkest moments, Arjun felt the divine presence guiding him. He remembered Krishna's words, when dharma is threatened, I manifest myself to restore righteousness. The divine was not absent, it was working through him. With trembling hands but unwavering resolve, Arjun prepared his resignation letter. But more than that, he prepared to expose the corruption. Like Yudhishthira, who chose truth even when it meant losing his kingdom, Arjun chose dharma even when it meant losing his job. The board meeting was like Yudhishthira's final test. When they threatened him, when they offered more money, when they questioned his family's future, Arjun stood firm. I cannot build my happiness on the foundation of others' suffering, he declared, echoing Yudhishthira's principles. Like Yudhishthira, who answered the Yaksh's final question about what brings true happiness, contentment, Arjun discovered that peace comes not from external success but from alignment with Dharma. His heart felt lighter than it had in years. The consequences came swiftly. He lost his job, faced legal threats, and endured financial hardship. But like Yudhishthira during his 13 years of exile, Arjun used this time to deepen his spiritual practice and serve others. He started teaching underprivileged children, finding purpose in service. Months later, the corruption scandal broke. The media hailed Arjun as a hero, but he remained humble. Like Yudhishthira, who refused to enter heaven without his faithful dog, Arjun ensured that his former colleagues who had supported him were also protected and recognized. Krishna Das, his mentor, met him at a temple. "Beta," he said with tears in his eyes, "you have understood what Yudhishthira taught us. Dharma is not about winning or losing. It is about remaining true to your soul's purpose, whatever the cost." New opportunities emerged, but now Arjun evaluated them differently. Like Yudhishthira, who ruled his kingdom with Dharma as his guide, Arjun chose work that served society. He joined a non-profit organization fighting corruption, turning his experience into service. Years passed. Arjun's organization grew, helping countless people. He married Priya, a social worker who shared his values. Their simple wedding ceremony was conducted according to dharmic principles, with Krishna Das performing the sacred rituals. On quiet evenings, Arjun would read the Mahabharata to his young son, Dhruv. "Papa," the boy asked one day, "why didn't Yudhishthira just keep quiet like everyone else?" Arjun smiled, remembering his own journey. "Because Beta, some things are more important than safety. Truth is one of them." The boy listened intently as his father explained Yudhishthira's Yaksha Prashna. "What is the path to happiness, Papa?" Dhruv asked. "Contentment," Arjun replied, "just as Yudhishthira had centuries ago. When we are content with doing right, external circumstances cannot touch our inner peace." Arjun's story spread through social media, inspiring thousands of young professionals. He received messages from people facing similar dilemmas. "How do I choose Dharma when it seems impossible?" they asked. His response was always the same: trust in Krishna's promise, Dharma never fails. At a corporate conference, Arjun was invited to speak about ethical leadership. He began with Yudhishthira's story. "Leadership is not about power," he said. "It is about Dharma. When we lead with righteousness, we create a ripple effect that transforms not just our organizations but our entire society." The questions came from the audience. "But what if Dharma means losing everything?" a young woman asked. Arjun replied, "Yudhishthira lost his kingdom, his wealth, even his freedom. But he never lost his soul. And in the end, Dharma restored everything to him multiplied. The same will happen for you." Another executive asked, "How do we know if we are following Dharma or just being stubborn?" Arjun smiled, remembering Krishna Das's wisdom. "Dharma brings peace to your heart, even in difficulty. When you choose Dharma, you feel aligned with your highest self. That inner peace is your compass." As the conference ended, many participants approached Arjun. They shared their own struggles with corporate corruption, family pressures, and moral dilemmas. Like Yudhishthira, who became a counselor to all who sought wisdom, Arjun found his purpose in guiding others toward Dharma. That night, Arjun sat in meditation, as was his daily practice. In the stillness, he felt the presence of all the great dharmic leaders: Yudhishthira, Rama, Krishna. He understood that he was part of an eternal lineage of those who chose righteousness over convenience. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that Dharma is not a burden but a privilege. Like Yudhishthira, who was chosen by Dharma itself as his father. Each of us is chosen to uphold righteousness in our own sphere. We are not victims of circumstances, but agents of divine will. Years later, when Arjun's son Dhruv faced his own moral dilemma at school, he remembered his father's stories. When classmates pressured him to cheat, he heard Yudhishthira's voice, "Truth is the highest dharma." He chose honesty, even when it meant lower grades. The dharmic lineage continued. On his deathbed, Krishna Das called Arjun to his side. With his last breath, he whispered, "Beta, you have understood. Dharma is not about being perfect. It is about being authentic to your highest self." Yudhishthira was not perfect, but he was authentic. That is all Krishna asks of us. Today, Arjun's organization has helped thousands of people stand up against corruption. His story has inspired a movement of ethical leadership across India. Like Yudhishthira, whose reign established Dharma for generations, Arjun's choices continue to ripple through society. The Yaksh's final question to Yudhishthira was, "What brings the greatest happiness?" The answer was simple: contentment. In our modern world of endless desires and competitions, Yudhishthira's wisdom remains unchanged. True happiness comes from living in alignment with our Dharma. As we conclude this sacred journey, remember that Yudhishthira's story is not just ancient history. It is a living teaching for every moment when we must choose between right and wrong, between dharma and convenience, between truth and falsehood. The choice is always ours. Krishna promises in the Bhagavad Gita, "Whenever dharma declines and unrighteousness increases, I manifest myself to restore the balance." Today, in every person who chooses truth over lies, righteousness over profit, dharma over convenience, Krishna manifests himself. Yudhishthira's spirit lives on. The greatest wonder of this world, as Yudhishthira taught us, is that we live as if we are immortal while forgetting that our time here is limited. Let us use this precious time to uphold dharma, to serve others, and to align ourselves with the eternal truth. This is our sacred duty. May we all find the courage of Yudhishthira, the wisdom of Krishna, and the determination to choose dharma in every moment of our lives. When we stand for truth, we stand with the divine. When we choose righteousness, we choose victory that transcends this world. Hare Krishna.